Your new dog seemed perfect for the first week. Quiet, well-behaved, almost too good to be true. Then suddenly, around day 10, everything changed. They're getting into the trash, having accidents in the house, barking at nothing, and you're starting to panic thinking you made a terrible mistake. Here's what almost no one tells you. That perfect dog you brought home wasn't showing you their real personality yet. And the chaos you're seeing now, it's actually a sign things are moving in the right direction. I go by Mariana Vasquez, and I'm a small pet care specialist. And while my expertise is mainly in guinea pigs and other small animals, I've watched enough friends navigate new dog adoptions to recognize the patterns that repeat every single time. You're listening to Total Pet Parent Podcast. Quick note before we jump in. Everything you're hearing is researched, fact-checked, and written by real people who know their stuff, but the voice delivering it is AI-generated. Just wanted to be upfront about that. If you've been listening for a while, thanks for coming back. It genuinely makes a difference. And if this is your first episode, welcome. I think you'll find we keep things real and practical here. New episodes drop every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you'll have a steady stream of pet advice that actually makes sense. Today, we're talking about something that causes so much unnecessary panic for new dog owners. What's really going on during that first month?
I'll be honest with you, when my friend Sarah brought home her rescue lab mix, Rex, she texted me in a panic on day 3. He won't eat, he hides under the bed, and he looks terrified. I'll be honest with you, when my friend Sarah brought home her rescue lab mix, Rex, she texted me in a panic on day 3. He won't eat, he hides under the bed, and he looks terrified. Did I make a mistake? I had to gently remind her that new dog behavior in the first month is almost never the real personality you'll eventually know. Those first 30 days, they're a roller coaster of adjustment, decompression, and trust building for every dog, whether you've adopted a puppy, an adult, or a senior. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is new dog behavior in the first month? It refers to the collection of behavioral patterns, emotional responses, and adjustment phases that dogs experience during their initial 30 days in a new home environment. This period represents a critical transition window, where dogs are simultaneously processing environmental changes, establishing social bonds, learning household rules, and recovering from whatever stress preceded the move, whether that's shelter life, a previous home, or separation from their mother and litter mates. You'll see behaviors during this time that might never appear again, from extreme shyness to surprising boldness. A dog who seems confident on day 1 might suddenly become clingy on day 7. Another who barely made eye contact initially might transform into your shadow by week 3. This isn't inconsistency, it's the natural process of a dog moving through what behavioral researchers call the decompression period. The first month isn't just one long adjustment, it's actually several distinct phases that dogs move through at different speeds, depending on their age, previous experiences, temperament, and even breed characteristics. Understanding these phases helps you distinguish between temporary adjustment behaviors and potential long-term issues that might need professional intervention. Now, how does this actually unfold? Let me walk you through the typical first-month timeline. The first 3 to 7 days are typically marked by what looks like exceptional behavior, but it's often a dog being too overwhelmed to show their real personality. Many dogs arrive home and immediately seem perfect. They don't bark, they barely move, they accept whatever you offer without protest. Sarah's Rex spent his first 2 days under furniture, emerging only for bathroom breaks. This isn't compliance, it's sensory and emotional overload. Your new dog is processing an entirely new world, different smells. Every home has a distinct scent profile that dogs register immediately. New sounds, like your refrigerator hum, traffic patterns, neighbor noise, changed routines, and unfamiliar humans. According to the American Veterinary Association, dogs rely heavily on routine and familiar sensory cues for emotional regulation, and the absence of those cues creates significant stress. Puppies under 4 months often show less shutdown behavior because they haven't developed the same fear responses as adult dogs, but they'll still be disoriented. You might see Puppies under 4 months often show less shutdown behavior because they haven't developed the same fear responses as adult dogs, but they'll still be disoriented. You might see excessive sleeping, which is normal because stress is exhausting, refusal to eat, common for the first 24 to 48 hours, and minimal interaction with toys or family members. Moving into week 2, things get interesting. Somewhere around days 7 to 14, most dogs start showing their actual personality, and this is where things get real. The extreme good behavior often disappears. Dogs who seemed house-trained might have accidents. The quiet dog might start barking. The one who never jumped on counters suddenly discovers your kitchen. This is exploratory behavior, not defiance. Your dog is finally comfortable enough to investigate their environment and test what's acceptable. When Rex started this phase, Sarah called me again. He pulled everything out of the trash. He never did that before. Well, no, before he was too stressed to act like himself. This is actually a positive sign. It means your dog feels safe enough to exhibit natural behaviors. The challenge is that you need to start establishing boundaries without undermining that emerging sense of security. Harsh corrections during this window can send a dog right back into shutdown mode, and many new adopters make this mistake because they panic, thinking they've adopted a bad dog. Here's the part nobody warns you about adequately. Around days 14 to 21, many dogs show a temporary behavior dip. This is when you might see increased anxiety, reactivity, or stubbornness. A dog who seemed to be settling in beautifully might suddenly regress. More accidents, more barking, more destructive behavior. Behavioral veterinarians believe this happens because dogs have processed enough of their new reality to realize it's permanent, and that triggers a secondary stress response. It's like when you start a new job and feel fine the first week because you're running on adrenaline, then week 3 hits and suddenly you're exhausted and overwhelmed because the reality sinks in. This phase is temporary but requires patience. If you're working on training, you might see your dog forget commands they seemed to understand. You might notice increased clinginess, which can look like separation anxiety symptoms, or conversely, more independence and ignoring you. Both are normal. By days 21 to 30, most dogs start finding their rhythm in your household. This doesn't mean they're fully adjusted. That actually takes closer to 3 months, but you'll see more consistent behavior patterns. The personality you see emerging now is much closer to your dog's true temperament.
You'll notice your dog developing routines. They know when meals happen, when walks occur, where they're supposed to sleep. They've figured out the household rules, even if you haven't explicitly taught them all. They're bonding more noticeably with specific family members. Dogs often pick a primary person within the first month, though they can bond with everyone. This is when training really starts to stick. The dog's stress hormones, primarily cortisol, have dropped enough that their brain can actually process and retain new information effectively. Before this point, you can train, but don't be surprised if progress feels slow or inconsistent. Let me tell you why understanding all this matters. It's not just interesting trivia. First, it prevents premature returns. Shelters report that a significant percentage of adopted dogs are returned within the first month, often with reasons like not a good fit or behavioral issues we didn't expect. Many of those dogs were simply exhibiting normal adjustment behaviors that would have resolved with time. When Sarah understood that Rex's trash diving was exploration, not a character flaw, she stopped considering returning him and instead managed the environment by securing the trash while he settled. Second, it helps you distinguish temporary adjustment behaviors from genuine behavioral concerns that might need professional intervention. A dog who won't eat for 2 days? Normal adjustment. A dog who won't eat for 7 days? Time to consult your veterinarian. A dog who's reactive on leash during week 2? Probably stress. A dog who's progressively more reactive by week 4 might need a certified behavior consultant. Third, it protects the bond you're building. If you misinterpret adjustment behaviors as disobedience or personality traits, you might respond with corrections or frustration that damage your dog's emerging trust. Understanding that your dog isn't being bad, they're overwhelmed, changes how you respond, and that patience during the first month creates a foundation for your entire relationship. Fourth, it informs your training timeline. Knowing that weeks 1 through 3 are primarily about decompression helps you set realistic expectations. You can introduce basic routines and boundaries, but expecting complex training or perfect behavior is unfair to your dog. Now let's talk about the specific behavioral patterns you're most likely to encounter during these first 30 days. Different dogs show different adjustment patterns, but these are the most common categories. Expect weird sleep patterns. Your new dog might sleep excessively for the first week due to stress exhaustion, then barely sleep during week 2 because of exploratory energy. Expect weird sleep patterns. Your new dog might sleep excessively for the first week due to stress exhaustion, then barely sleep during week 2 because of exploratory energy, then struggle with nighttime sleeping during week 3 because of anxiety. Some dogs develop temporary sleep locations, under your bed, in the closet, behind the couch, before finally settling into the bed you've provided. This is normal. They're finding safe spaces while they adjust. When it comes to appetite, it's completely normal for a new dog to refuse food for 24 to 48 hours. Their stress response suppresses appetite. By day 3 or 4, most dogs start eating, though they might be pickier than they'll eventually be. Some dogs go the opposite direction and eat ravenously. This is often resource-guarding behavior from dogs with previous food insecurity. Even fully house-trained adult dogs often have accidents during the first month. New environment means new bathroom cues. They don't know the door is, they don't know your routine, and their stress might be affecting their digestive system. Diarrhea is common in the first week. Puppies under 6 months obviously won't be reliably house-trained yet anyway. Your new dog might become your shadow, following you from room to room, or they might seem indifferent to your presence. Both are normal. Some dogs attach quickly, especially puppies and dogs with previous positive human relationships, while others need weeks to develop trust. Don't take aloofness personally during this period. It's not about you. Expect your new dog to be more reactive than they'll eventually be. Noises that won't bother them in 3 months might cause startle responses now. Other dogs, people, or vehicles might trigger fear or overexcitement. Their stress threshold is lower because they're already operating at a higher baseline stress level. Let me address some questions that come up constantly during this period. Is it normal for a new dog to hide for the first few days? Yes, hiding is one of the most common new dog behaviors in the first week. Dogs often seek enclosed, protected spaces when overwhelmed, under beds, in closets, behind furniture, or in crates if provided. This behavior typically peaks in the first 72 hours and gradually diminishes as your dog becomes familiar with household routines and realizes they're safe. Don't force interaction during this phase. Instead, ensure your dog has access to water, food, and a bathroom area, and allow them to emerge at their own pace. Most dogs transition from hiding to cautious exploration within 5 to 7 days, though particularly anxious dogs or dogs with shelter trauma might need up to 2 weeks.
When should you start training? You can begin establishing basic routines and simple commands from day 1, but keep expectations modest during the first 2 weeks while your dog is still in the primary decompression phase. Focus on teaching your dog their name, establishing feeding and bathroom schedules, and introducing 1 or 2 basic commands like sit or come using positive reinforcement.
Avoid intensive training sessions until week 3 or 4 when your dog's stress hormones have dropped enough for effective learning. For dogs who seem ready earlier, start with foundation commands. But if your dog seems overwhelmed or struggles to focus, scale back and give them more adjustment time. Here's the question Sarah asked me in a panic. My new dog seemed perfect for a week, but now has behavior problems. What happened? This is the classic 2-week shutdown phenomenon, where dogs are initially too overwhelmed to display their actual personality and behaviors. During the first 7 to 10 days, many dogs are in survival mode, exhibiting unusually compliant behavior because they're uncertain about their environment and too stressed to act naturally. Around days 10 to 14, as stress decreases and comfort increases, dogs begin showing their real temperament, which includes normal dog behaviors like exploring, testing boundaries, vocalizing, and exhibiting breed-typical traits. This isn't your dog changing or revealing hidden problems, it's your dog finally feeling secure enough to be themselves. This phase requires patience and consistent, gentle boundary setting rather than harsh corrections that could undermine your dog's emerging sense of security. Should you take your new dog to the vet right away or wait until they're settled? Schedule a veterinary visit within the first week, regardless of adjustment stress, ideally within the first 3 to 5 days of bringing your dog home. This initial examination establishes baseline health, updates vaccinations if needed, screens for parasites, and allows your vet to identify any medical issues that might be contributing to behavioral concerns. Pain, illness, and parasites can all affect behavior during adjustment. The brief stress of a vet visit is worth the health information you'll gain, and catching medical problems early prevents them from complicating the adjustment process. How do you know if your new dog's behavior is normal adjustment or a serious problem? Normal adjustment behaviors improve gradually or fluctuate over the first month, respond to patience and routine. How do you know if your new dog's behavior is normal adjustment or a serious problem? Normal adjustment behaviors improve gradually or fluctuate over the first month, respond to patience and routine, and don't pose safety risks. Warning signs that suggest you need professional help include aggression that intensifies rather than decreases, biting, lunging, or threatening behavior toward people or other pets, complete refusal to eat for more than 72 hours, inability to be touched or handled with extreme fear responses after 2 weeks, severe separation anxiety that leads to self-injury or property destruction, or compulsive behaviors like constant pacing, tail chasing, or excessive licking. If you're unsure, consult a certified professional dog trainer or veterinary behaviorist. It's always better to get guidance early than to wait until behaviors become entrenched. So what do you actually do with all this information? Here's what makes the biggest difference based on what I've watched work and fail for friends navigating this period. Create predictable routines immediately. Dogs find enormous comfort in consistency. Same feeding times, same walk schedule, same bedtime. Even if your dog seems too stressed to care about routines, establish them anyway. Their brain is registering the patterns even when they seem disconnected. Manage the environment rather than correcting the dog. Can't trust your dog around the trash? Put it somewhere inaccessible. Dog chewing furniture? Provide appropriate chew items and block access to tempting areas. Environmental management prevents rehearsal of unwanted behaviors without creating conflict during this sensitive period. Keep things low-key. I know you're excited about your new dog, but week 1 isn't the time for dinner parties where everyone meets the dog, trips to the busy dog park, or marathon training sessions. Quiet household, limited visitors, short outings. Think gentle exposure rather than exciting adventures.
Prepare your supplies before your dog arrives. Having everything from food bowls to identification tags ready reduces your stress, which in turn reduces your dog's stress. They absolutely pick up on your emotional state. Focus on trust over training. Yes, introduce basic rules, but your primary goal this first month is building a relationship where your dog sees you as safe and reliable. Every positive interaction, calm petting, gentle play, successful bathroom trips, meals provided on schedule, is a deposit in that trust bank. Be boringly consistent. Dogs don't need variety during adjustment. They need predictability. Use the same door for bathroom trips. Feed in the same location. Use the same words for the same actions. It feels monotonous to you, but it's deeply reassuring to your dog.
Know when to get help. If you're feeling overwhelmed, if your dog's behavior concerns you, or if you're not seeing any improvement by week 4, reach out to professionals. Certified dog trainers, veterinary behaviorists, or even your regular veterinarian can provide guidance tailored to your specific situation. The American Kennel Club maintains directories of certified professionals if you're not sure where to start. The first month with a new dog isn't always easy. Sarah will tell you that even now, 2 years later, she remembers those first weeks as stressful and uncertain. But Rex? He's sleeping on her couch right now, completely confident, fully integrated, and showing zero signs of the anxious dog who hid under furniture on day 1. That transformation happens for almost every dog, but it requires understanding that new dog behavior in the first month is temporary, normal, and not a reflection of your dog's eventual personality. Those 30 days are a bridge between your dog's past and their future with you. Cross it with patience, and you'll find your real dog waiting on the other side.
That wraps up this episode of Total Pet Parent Podcast. Thanks for spending this time with me. New episodes come out every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, so you'll always have something fresh waiting. If this episode helped you out, maybe you're going through this right now with a new dog, or you know someone who is. Leaving a 5-star rating and a quick review really does help other people find the show when they're searching for answers. And hit subscribe or follow so you get notified the second new episodes drop. Appreciate you being here.